Hi friends, welcome to Aishu's DIY. Today we will design with the Bargain Bead box subscription for this month November. Um, I really wanted to show you guys what I want. This pendant right here, the medallion pendant that we received in the box, is very thin. So just keeping that in the middle of the necklace, it doesn't feel right for me. It needs to, I need to add something so that I can make this thicker. But as you can see, this enamel printing, the filigree kind of a painting on top of it will go away if I completely cover it. So what I wanted to do is I took this pendant and it was like this, of course, okay, when we received. So I just moved it a little bit like that, closer to it, and just springs and goes back to this kind of a position, which I really like. So there is only one hole in this medallion pendant, which is right here. So I align that way. So I take this piece of satin cord that was lying around. Just any cord would do. Just wanted to go through this pendant and this loop. Okay. I wanted to make one more hole in the medallion. First I thought I will make medallion a hole in the bottom, but now I'm thinking to make it on the side. And I want it in the space exactly where this loop ends so that it is good. And what I like to do is hold this on, just tie in over here knot or two. Okay, so then take a marker, maybe not a permanent marker, right? That's okay. I guess it'll be fine. So here you go. So I hold this like this and then come here and then go ahead and mark that spot right here. That's where we want our next hole to be. So I take this hole puncher. This I got it from Michael's. It's bead landing, as you guys can see. It's I think it's a leather hole puncher, but it's okay. It can poke holes like this much anywhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna take this and then punch a hole exactly where I marked. I hope that this will work. Okay, it worked, but let's see. I think it's made a little bit bigger hole than what it was. Okay. Now we have this, and I will sand this a little bit because it's a little bit rough here. So I don't want our cords to go, satin's okay, but I'm going to do a nylon cord. So I'll sand this, and I know this hole is bigger, but the way that I'm trying to use this should be fine. So I just pressed it with my pliers and it just got smooth. So that's a good thing. We don't need to sand. I was worried that I will take away the golden foil that is, or painter that is over here. So now we have these two holes, okay, and this right here to work with. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I have here some Chinese knotting cord in darker green color. This green is, honestly speaking, is overpowering for me. Alone is fine, but with this bright red, it's a little bit overpowering for me. So I have the exact green cord with me, but I don't want to use that because as you can see, this shade is a little bit darker than this green. So I wanted to use something that goes with this. So I chose a darker green, but you can use whatever green you have available in your stash. This is 0.8 millimeter Chinese knotting cord. So I'm also going to use another cord which is 0.45 millimeter, and this is polyester cord. See this? This is the one that I'm going to use because as it is the red we are using, so that's what I'm going to use it anyways. So at one end I'm just going to add these two cords, and I'm gonna cut myself about, say, first of all, let's just cut the cord first things first, right? So I'm gonna, this mat is 1 foot, so 2 foot, I would say 3 foot at least. When I double it, it will become 1.5 foot. No, yeah, 1.5 foot should be good enough. So I'm just going to cut here and see if these cords go. I didn't check that first. Let's see. You melt the end of the Chinese knotting cord until you have like a needle. See that? That's what I'm expecting for. So let's see if these two cords go through this one. I know for sure the Colosseum beads I'm trying to use as a bigger hole, so as this one, but these two I have my doubts. So one at a time, maybe. Hold that tight and try to push this. No, it won't. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is imply another trick. So I take this, move everything down. I was very skeptical about this green. Let me know in the comments below if you guys felt the same way. It was a little bit intimidating and not so easy to design this bright green. So instead of having a double strand, we can have a double strand. Thinking. We can have a double strand. All it would mean is I would make this to the center and see how much we have. We have only 1.5 feet, so we can't knot our way around so much because so if you can knot it here just like that, and over here knot, and take a bead all also, put it in the knot and tighten that up slowly and steadily. Bring it all the way close, and then there we go, that is done. So that is connected, and if we can, we have to connect this side as well. Okay. There we go. I have to take this, the other hole is this side, so if I flip it, this becomes weird. So I'll remove that knot and come back. So I finished one side of my necklace. I thought I will figure it out and then do the next with you guys. So one side I have done this, and I have done something a little bit different, not quite the way that we wanted it to be, like we normally do, kind of. So let me just say, first of all, I need to cut again 3 feet. Okay, 3 feet, and if I double it, yes, I think it will yield me the necessary amount of cord that I need. Take this, take one end of the cord, go through this loop, okay, and this donut bead, and then through our hole in the medallion bead, and bring it all the way to the middle of the cord, okay, and adjust this accordingly. Okay, take these 2 cords over here, knot, just go over your 2 fingers, make a loop, bring that knot down. So here we go, just making sure that the knot comes down all the way and not stay there. Okay, so I haven't tightened my knot. That's so that I can do some changes if I want to. Bring it all the way down as possible and just make that knot go towards our center part and then tighten that. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I want it to be exactly like this one right here. So that's what I'm trying to do here. The other side of the necklace. If I can tighten a bit more, that's nice. That's good enough for me. Now I will follow exactly what I did this side. Okay, first of all, I will take these 2 cords and melt these ends separately. So that you have like a needle kind of a thing. That's always a good thing to have, so that you can easily thread in your beads. Okay, next thing we need to do is take this barrel bead and then put it through both the cords through the bead. It goes very nicely, so don't have to worry. Come all the way down here and go ahead and overhand knot with both the cords. Pull it through. I would like to use a bead awl for this purpose, which is very easy for me to do that. Just bring it all the way down, just like that, and take that bead awl off, and see the knot is still loose right there. Okay, then take your pliers, tweezer nose or chain nose pliers, and just push that knot down. I'm not looking for a perfect knot over there, but tight enough. So that's that bead. Next will be See these two cords, I keep it this way to work, and which is comfortable for me. So one cord is towards the right, generally it came towards the right, and one cord's towards the left. Take that right cord, no, the left cord, sorry, and add that 8mm smooth quartz, not this bead, that bead has, this one is perfect. There we go. Add that bead, and now this bead is not going on top of two cords, so I just did this. See how I pinched it, and then I did an overhand knot with both the cord. So now again I will do the same thing as I did. I really like to use my bead awl for this purpose. I am not hand knotting, so I am just pushing, as you can see, and pushing the individual cords as well close to my bead as possible, and then just kind of push it towards the bead and separate it and tighten it. This is what we should have. See, the other cord comes around like this. I like that way. So now all you need to do is add the colosseum bead. That is a little bit of a challenge, trust me. There's a bigger hole, but it is a challenge to get even one through that. I don't know why. So what I did was I'm just going to harden my generally the cord, so it's easier for me to do this. There we go. So now one is gone. Hold it tight against your fingers. Take the other one, and I'm hoping that this should also be okay. I will just melt this a little bit and make this stiff. I'm not melting to take a needle kind of a thing, but I'm melting it to make it stiff, so that when it goes through the bead, it's nice and stiff. Take a needle or something and you can do push that in the hole as well. I got that through it, and now take your two cords and do an overhand knot. Just make sure that your bead awl is inside that loop. Pull the cord, it will automatically tighten up. There you have your knot, and then you can push your knot with your fingers as well, and separate the two cord and tighten that up. Now also I like to work this way, so the left cord, whichever inclines towards the left, I take the bead on the left, and then bring both the cords together, again an overhand knot. So I did a knotting like to quarter of my necklace up till this portion, and then I didn't knot, but I want you guys to choose however you want to do that. It doesn't have to be like how I did it. See this, I just want the knot to be like that around the bead. So that's that. Now again the time to add the barrel bead. One more barrel bead. We have totally 5 barrel beads. I'm using 4 for this necklace. It goes nicely on top of both the cords, so go ahead and tie a knot, put the bead all in here, pull that, and then push that knot towards the bead. and tighten that knot up. So we have this so far. Then again, like, look at the cord, how it is inclined towards one side. Take the left cord, add the bead, and overhand knot again, making sure your knot is all the way there. Adjust whatever you want to at this point of time, and then when you let it go, all you need to do is push that knot towards the bead, and there it is. Nicely done. Then what we need to do here is add the closing bead on both the cords. That's a bit of a challenge all the time. For some reason, I have absolutely no idea, but sometimes some beads are easy. We also have 5 beads in the closing beads in this box, so try to use another bead if you're finding it difficult to put both the cords through. You can also downsize your Chinese knotting cord to 0.6 or 5 or 4. I haven't heard 6, 5, 4, 5 is there. No, actually I have heard 6 millimeter as well. I actually have one. What am I talking about, right? So you can use not in the Chinese knotting cord, but in the polyester cord. So again, separate the two cords. The leftmost cord gets the bead, and then overhand knot. Trust me, the knots are done. From here on we will not add any knots. So this is probably the last knot we are going to go ahead and put it. So making sure the bead is right there. Take the bead all, see how messy it is. We don't have to do this messy, right? So I want to check like how the bead is. See this? It comes on this side, so I'm just going to remove this knot and restring the bead on the other cord, because when I tighten, just want it to be proper. I think it's proper. Let's see. See, that's a hand knotting technique. That is also okay. So now that we have finished the knotting part, it's going to be only stringing part. So again, I also highly recommend you to actually keep this way and work with it, so that's easier. Now take the two cords. We have received some 4 millimeter metallic gold spacer bead in this box, which I want to utilize, and they have big holes and nice and neatly they go on both the cords. So there we go. Do that, okay, and see how it goes, the cord. So it goes like this. So add a bead, a 8 millimeter smooth shade, I guess, or quartz to that, and then take these two cords. Again, add a metallic bead on top of the two cords. We are not knotting in between, we are just stringing, but we are separating the cords. As see this, it automatically goes towards one side. So you take this and see how it goes, which cord goes where. So now you pull that. Now you add the cord to the other side. See, in here left side the cord is empty, right? We have the green bead. So after this metallic bead, now we are going to add the bead to the left so that the cord comes on the right, that way. Now take your two cords, add a metallic bead. So I always want to check this way. Where it naturally goes is where I want to add it. I don't want to force it. Now the previous unit, you have the bead on the left and the cord on the right. Now I will have the bead on the right and the cord on the left. So that's how I alternated, and just pull it, and how comfortably it sits, that's what we want. I don't want to force it, I don't want to tighten it, because I really like the look of this being naturally on one side. And now again, so I'm alternating so that I get this effect, right? See how loose it is, it's not tight. And then this is what I'm going to do for the rest of the necklace. So I added, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sets. So there is 3 sets. Now I will do 9, and I will come back. All we are doing is stringing with the Chinese knotting cord. So this is a new technique. I really like this technique, so that you don't have to knot the entire necklace, because it's not needed and it's nice and sturdy, doesn't have any problem whatsoever to hold our necklace together, nice and strong. So why not? The only thing that I was thinking that I didn't include this metallic bead in this knotted portion. That's why I did this. I added a jump ring. I added a small, not this big, but 3mm metallic spacer into the jump ring, and I just added on top of the knot. I'll tell you guys how I did that. But for now I will finish stringing the 9 sets and I'll come back. So now that I have finished my 9 sets, as you guys can see, I just left it a little bit loose. Don't make it very tight. And also you can take this strand and make sure that there is a gap in between this. We don't want this to be tight. That's the look I'm going for. And then all you need to do is take this, make an overhand knot. I don't want the overhand knot to be tight. I don't want the overhand knot to be very close. So I just move it a little bit and just leave it there. Then tighten that up. See, I still have a lot of gap, which will manifest in between the beads. So not so much, but just a bit more than it has to be. So just check on both. If you're happy with it, go ahead and tighten that knot up really nicely. And then you have 4 cords interchanging each other, just like that, and secure this. We are going to do our adjustable sliding knot so that the length of the necklace can be adjustable, right? So I just kept all 4 strands crisscross each other into the pegs of the knotty do-it-all. We'll just do that. Now I told you I'm going to use this cord. This is 0.45mm thickness polyester cord. So There is a reason behind why I'm using this. And normally for a sliding knot, we would take 8 to 10 inches maximum. But in this case, I'm gonna take about 24 inches. I mean, just to be on the safer side. I'll let you guys know how much I used at the end of the day. But for the necklace, for each side it's 3 feet. That's for sure. And we need 11 seed beads. I am taking this 11 seed beads in gold metallic color. You can use any color you want. Red will also be nice. But since I'm using red as a cord and green as a base cord, I want to use gold. So take your thin cord, put it underneath, okay, and start making your queue, but hold the end of the cords and make sure that the queue end up bang in the center, just like that. Okay, there we go. So then I start with the Q and then the P. These are square knots. If you are not aware of what square knots are, go ahead and watch the basic macrame knots from my channel and you will get to know it's pretty easy. So I did almost 3 square knots, I think, for the start. So take your cord, add a 11 seed bead on both the sides. I know this is in the back of the necklace, but I like to actually embellish that as well. So I have to do a P now. There we go. And then again a Q. So basically with the bead or 1/2 knot and without, and then another knot, half knot. Okay, so that is that. Now I pick up again 11 seed bead. Oops. You can preload the seed bead as well, but you will have to tie an overhand knot or a sliding slip knot at the end so that you don't get your beads in the way. But this one is pretty easy for me. So I do a P with the beads, continued by a Q to actually secure that knot. And then we'll start adding. See how there is a green, there is a red, and the gold. That's what I'm talking about. You can also use the same color since we have used red, green, and gold in our design. I just wanted to continue the same color in the back as well. This will be very, very pretty. If it is loose, just tighten that a bit. After the bead, it's always sometimes loose, but with this thin cord, it is not. It's quite unnatural to do that, but sometimes it does. If it does, you will have to straighten that up first before tightening the second knot followed by it. There we go. Drop it down. Again, do a P. See, this knot is tight, but if it's not, then when I'm doing this knot, the subsequent knot, I tighten that first and then tighten this knot, right? So the number of knots here is totally up to you. Doesn't have to be exactly this much or that much or so. I'm planning to do about, say, 7 2 feet absolutely is not necessary, but it's better to have more than less. Especially this thin thread, there is absolutely no way to actually add thread. That's the only default in macrame, I would say. Not default, it's a little bit inconvenience. So it's better to take more than less. Like how you would with the wire wrapping or wire working if you're doing a free form wire working pendant or necklace or so. You would take as much as possible because you don't know where the design takes you. So the same with macrame. Especially when you're doing a new design, it's hard to get the measurements right. Do a couple more times, you can do it. So there is 6. I'll do one more bead on either side. After this, I'm going to do 2 more square knots and then snip off my cord because I started with empty knots in the first. I'm continuing to do the same at the end as well. You don't have to do this, but I feel this to be more secure. I tried just doing with the beads, but I feel this to be more secure than that. I still have at least yeah, so you don't need much, you just need 1 foot of cord to do this. Like 12 inches is more than sufficient for doing this much of a sliding knot for this. So now what we can do here is, so take this cord. I like to do an overhand knot on both sides just to be secure. One more knot. Okay, and then snip this off. Just because it's very thin, you can use thread zapper to actually zap this instead of your lighter. But if you are using lighter, just be very careful. Already it feels like it's coming off. See this? It opened up. Oh, good that I did that. Let me try. There we go. It's very light. Oops. Okay. Okay, I'm saved. I'm saved by the extra knot. So as I said, please be very careful with this thin cord. So now we have this. You can see that's a sliding knot. See how it goes like this? So that happens normally with the beads because we have some gap in there. So all you need to do is okay. So one end is a little bit shorter. I can take these 2 cords, add a metallic bead on it, and then do an overhand knot. So do the same the other side as well. We need the spacer. I really like this spacer. It's really has a big hole and it's very smooth. Make an overhand knot. When you do that, make sure that the knot is approximately the same distance as the other one. There we go. Snip this off, and the other one as well. Now I still feel that this needs to be melted a bit more. There we go. Okay, now that this is done, I really like the way this turned out to be. I was like looking at it this time, staring at it for quite some time, and I was not able to. Green is a little bit hard for me to work with, so I was staring at this and I didn't know what to do, but this turned out to be very pretty. I hope you guys like this tutorial too. Have a good day. If you do, oh, one more thing I forgot. I added some jump rings right here. That's why my jump rings are over here. I'm so sorry I added a jump ring here as well. It's just a different decoration that normally we do. So I have 4 of this 3mm beads. You can use the bead that we got from the box as well, that is 4mm, but I have some jump rings. These are 4mm jump ring. This is 6mm or 8mm, I'm not so sure. I have 1 big jump ring and 4 small jump rings. So what I did was take the jump ring. I have 2 pliers, tweezer nose and my bent nose pliers. I really like that with my jump ring. Make sure it's nice and round and not overlapping. Then take this bead. You can also take the bead that we got from the box, add it here, and just to have that gold element which is in the back of the necklace also in between, because I didn't add it in between when I was knotting it. So what I thought was, just to add it, I'm just going to add this jump ring in the place wherein I have a knot between the Colosseum bead and the 8mm bead, and close the jump ring. So it's just an added factor, I know, but I thought that creates a little bit of interest and the difference in our piece. So here again another jump ring, twist, twist, twist until it meets and nice and flush. Prep the jump ring first and then add the bead and pop it on top of the knot. Oops, it came out. Now turn your bent nose pliers here like this and then close it. I will do 2 more over here and 1 more with this, with the bigger jump ring and the bigger metallic beads. Turn the bent nose plier, prep the jump ring, open it up, add it here, and I added it in between this the loop wherein we connected the pendant and the bead. So that's it. It came out, but it's very easy to add this. Sorry, that's my daughter playing violin. She's learning violin this year, so she's just starting to learn. There we go, close it, and it's just a fun element hanging in there. I hope you guys like this. I will finish adding this and attach a nice picture at the end. Have a good day. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.